Hi guys, welcome. How are you doing today? Oh, hello again. Hi. Thanks so much for joining me over here. I'm just gonna move this over just a touch so that I have a little bit more space for that. Okay, and let's see, so that's good. Okay, so I can just combine these and I have a complete piece there. All right, and now I can start trying to work on the other painting. I'm a little nervous about this one, even though it's in black and white, which actually, that actually makes me really nervous for some reason. I really need to be live more often, even if I'm not doing anything necessarily like productive, like towards my art or writing, but just having people around, it holds me accountable. Because there's a lot of stuff around my house that I could be working on. Oh no, there's the yawn. There's the yawn. Okay, so I no longer need this sketch, so I'll delete that. And those three together, so I will do this. And then obviously, zero pressure, but if you could press share and copy link, even if you don't send it out anywhere, that'd be awesome. Much appreciated. Hi there. Hi guys. Welcome. Okay, let's see if I can get this sketch down. Hi, if you're new here, my name's Bree. I'm a digital artist. I am spending the week focusing on painting eyes. So this is what I'm currently working on. I just did this one on TikTok, so I'm gonna work on this one now here. And I worked on this one yesterday during the live, and I did this one just on my own to sort of see where my skill level was at, because I haven't painted humans in a very long time. So yeah, trying to improve upon that skill this year. I wanted to draw as many different eyes as I can with as many different expressions. One that I want to find after I am done with I think I have 6 selected. 6 different, yeah, I have 6. Once I'm done with those, I want to go for ones with like more extreme, with like anger and stuff, because I want to be able to, I want to be able to capture the expression in the eyes, as well as like the change in like the eyebrows and like the folds of the eye, stuff like that. So, no, we shall see what happens. Okay, so this just barely touches there. And obviously I want my sketch to be as accurate as possible. When I'm done with my sketch, I usually place it on top of the photo just so I don't change anything. I keep it as is, but I do put it over the photo so that I can just sort of get an idea of, I have not, good question though. Oops, sorry. So I try to measure and see like how is my ability to capture perspectives, and like what I'm seeing, and then I correct as I'm painting. Huh. And I'm definitely going to need to, so this goes more like this. This, there's, gets cut off by the lower lid there. I'm trying really hard to keep my hand out of the way, but it is difficult for me, so apologize if this is a little awkward. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, this part is much wider, so I want to make sure that I'm creating some space up here, and then also I'm keeping some of that space there too. Okay, and let's see. Just a little bit of the eye here shows like the under part of the eye, so we'll keep that there. And then hi, hello again. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Great to see you again. Okay. And just a little bit of this underneath, and then there will be eyelashes, and then there's separation here and here. Okay, I think that's probably good enough to like get started. So what I'm gonna do before I start though is I take the opacity down on the image, and then I'm just gonna drag my sketch over it and see how my portions are. Even if I don't change anything, it's just good information to see how my eye is interpreting space. So the only thing I will change is I'm keeping it uniform, and the only thing I will change is size, just to see how it lines up. And there are a couple things that could use some adjustment, so this definitely could use being put in more. So like if I wanted to, a quick fix would be just kind of going like that, but maybe more like that. But I'm gonna keep it as is because I think it's important. Oh my gosh, my kids. I think it's important for me to figure out through trial and error organically, like what's going wrong. So I just want to show you guys so that way you can test and see for yourself, like, okay, how close am I to understanding as I'm sketching? So we'll put that like that. We'll bring this back up. Again, nothing about it's been changed except the size. So all of it's, you know, it's exactly how I sketched it. I just enlarged the size of it. I did this one earlier on TikTok. It's not perfect. I still have to, like, I'm not at the point of like doing any touch-ups yet. I usually have to step away from a project for at least a full day before I can come back with a fresh set of eyes. But yeah, so we're gonna work on this one. I'm a little nervous that it's in black and white, but I was also really nervous with skin color, so it's fine. I just, you know, work with the anxiety, I suppose. I'm going to keep this not keep this, change this to multiply, so that way when I draw underneath it, it just shows up nicely. And I don't want to be in sketch anymore. I want to use the airbrush, and I'm under the regular hard airbrush. There we go. And I'm just going to get down a base coat underneath this. And wish me luck. Okay, so very seldomly, like for example, this, what I've been learning over the last couple days since doing this, put on a new layer, is very seldomly are things actually like white in the eye. Like, this has a lot of gray in it. So instead of going for white, I'm actually just going to grab the gray and just go a little bit up, but not too much. And I'm going to go back to this layer. Once I have more of the colors and shapes down, then I'll be able to take away the sketch. But we're going to start with a thing there. Also, for those of you who do frequent here, how has the, so typically I feel like my camera moves a lot. I've made some adjustments. Do you guys feel like, despite me drawing and moving and stuff, that the camera is holding in place better? Because I did get that feedback in 2024, and so I tried to, you know, make that adjustment. Perfect. That's awesome. Oh, great. I'm so excited that you feel like that this channel has been helpful for doing some digital art. You know, like I said, I am still learning myself, but I think that's always going to be a journey. As a creative, you never stop, you know, learning more about your medium, or, you know, you might be really well versed in one area but not all. So I feel pretty confident in certain things that I've painted many times over, and one area that I don't feel confident in is human anatomy and the body. So that's something that I as a personal goal decided that I was going to do for 2025, and I figure, you know, why not bring you guys along with me? We'll learn together. So here I am, practicing in real time. This grayscale is going to be interesting for me to figure out. All right, black. You can, there is a little bit of a pupil here. I don't know if you guys can see. And there is, this is a little, there's, you get a little bit of like a charcoal gray. So I'm going to start with just a little bit lighter. And I know it looks awful right now. I was just talking about this when I was live on TikTok. It's so hard to trust the process. Like, looking at this makes me want to give up, but I won't. I'm determined. But yeah, it's hard not to be like, oof, that looks rough. That is not what I came here to paint. So I think we're at the point where I can start lessening the opacity. So it's more of just a gentle guide rather than in your face. Okay, so let's start off. I'm gonna take this away for a second here so that I can really see where my lines are and what sort of needs to be smoothed out. I'm still using the hard airbrush for smudging, just to lighten up some of the, maybe not lighten, yeah, lighten, soften both the edges. I just feel like if you look at the eye, there's just like, I know the image also has a little bit of blur to it, but I think, you know, you can kind of see that it's not just this perfect, like, crisp line. And so just trying to keep that in mind as I'm doing this. Okay, and then one of the things I'm going to do early on is establish lighting, because I feel like that just, hi, hello. I think that usually helps me stick through the painting, because I feel like I'm accomplishing something. when I don't have like anything that feels completed, it's hard for me to stick with it. I'm just looking at this going, ugh. So let's start by getting a pupil in here. I'm going to soften up its appearance. I will be putting in almost like details. And let's do that light color. So somewhere's around here. And what's cool is down here you can actually see that it's like reflecting part of the eyelashes. So I'm excited to try and add that towards the end, that little detail. Okay, so like right now, this eye is much more tolerable for me to stare at if if I still have so long to go. Okay, so let's see, I'll grab this color. Put the sketch back on just to help with the guidance. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to work on this part here, like the inner lid. I also tend to move around a lot. If you haven't been with me before, I seldomly stay in one area for very long, and that's just because A, I get bored or overwhelmed, and I find moving around, A, keeps me focused and stimulated in the project, but also helps me not lose like faith in the process. So moving around just keeps it so that I'm not getting too fixated on one area and worrying about how it's going to turn out. So I'm just going to let that go for now. It does not look perfect, nor is the color right, but it's a placeholder. And now we shall go over here. And let's see, I'm going to start with getting down some of these eyelashes. Now the actual eyelashes I will paint closer to the end, but the, like, where the eyelashes are collecting and creating sort of like an eyeliner of sorts. What pretty lashes. Okay, so now we can start, see how this side of the eye is more shadowed. We can start working on creating that over here. There's also the upper eyelid. So just getting in some of the shadow there will also help. Okay, and we're gonna go here and just add a little bit more. Oh, thank you, you're so sweet. Thank you, thank you. I think there are a lot of talented people in the world who are afraid to show up. That has been most of my life. I've been hiding a lot of my own creativity for fear of, you know, judgment and just feeling like I'm not as good as others, and that comparison really prevented me from allowing me to take up space in a very valid place. Of course there are going to be people that are better than me. You know, some people have dedicated their entire lives to this craft or this process. But instead of looking to them as like a source of I'll never be that good, I now look at them as just inspiration. I had to definitely work on my mindset in order to, you know, start working on stuff. My iPad is an 11 Pro, I believe, question mark. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting my channel and joining us here today. I'm glad that you are here with us. I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea, but I did it. That's fine, it's fine. It'll work its way out. This is too late. Alright, we're gonna do some darker colors over here. And here. Hello there, welcome. Make this just a little bit darker for the crease. And I'm going to just smudge and soften up some of this. Obviously no pressure, but if anybody feels comfortable doing so, where or what country, maybe more broad, what country are you from, and how is the weather where you are? I'm in the United States, and we got snow the other day, and it lasted a day, and that was it. And not even a full day. Like, when I say a day, I mean between it showing up and then melting. Wintry cold. Yeah, I bet. The question is, do you like the winter weather? I mean, I suppose if I was like born there or I had a reason to be there, but I just, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the cold, and I'm not a fan of snow. Maybe if I was like, I don't know, utilizing the snow, maybe I'd feel differently, but I feel like I would just be indoors all the time, you know? Yeah, exactly. And the negatives. -6. How delightful. Ah, so refreshing. Poland, but live in the UK. It's 2 degrees. No snow. Oh man. Oh, I love that you had to put in the Celsius. That does help. Oh gosh. That is cold. So okay, so you're from Poland and now you're in the UK. What brought you to the UK? Do you like it there? You could send me some snow. Why, thank you. At least my kids would enjoy it. Thank you, Jose. I love the snow when I don't drive in it. Modeling full-time here. It's a bit busy. What I'm used to. I grew up on a farm. Oh yeah, that's different. That's definitely a different type of lifestyle, huh? Well, that's awesome. How long have you been in the UK? I can do this. I'm gonna do this one. I feel like really is going to stump me a little bit just because of the it being like monochromatic. So sorry about that. Oh, that's a good question. So I personally, I don't do a lot of like shading in, I might not be the right artist to ask for this. Just because I don't do a lot of shading in Procreate, but the brush that I'm using for this is the hard airbrush, and then I'm also smudging it using the hard airbrush. you could smudge and use, you know, one of the softer blends, but that's what I tend to stick with. This is not my typical type of art that I do. I've been doing like a lot of like digital oil paintings has been something new for this year. I tend to like, I'm trying to think. This is probably the closest to this style, but I still didn't solely use the hard airbrush that I'm using right now. I tend to like the Inca brush for like textures, for illustration style. For like more of my cartoony illustrations, I tend to use the Inca brush because I like the textures you get in there, but then I also smudge it so it has a softer appearance. I can speak. This, like, yeah, this tends to have more texture, so yeah, I don't do too much shading as much as I kind of bounce around in different realms. If anybody does have a suggestion though of like the pencils that they use for shading, by all means feel free to share. I mean, it's community, right? So I think we all learn better when we are, you know, sharing what works for us. It's not going to work for everyone, but I know I could not have grown if it weren't for other artists sharing, you know, what things work for them. And then in that I was able to find like what works for me. This is not the color I was hoping it would be, so I'm going to do something a little bit darker. Okay, so then this part up here is going to be a slightly darker gray. And then there's like trying to think what to call it. Gloss. Since her eyes do have liquid in them, I'm going to add some that aren't in the painting, just because I think it'll help push the painting just a little bit more. Alright, so before I do even more shading, I think I'm going to add the eyelashes, or at least attempt to. They are so pretty, and I feel like I may not be able to do them justice, but I am going to try my darndest. So I have the hard airbrush here. I have it just slightly amended, maybe more than slightly, but so I have the taper on to be not like that. It was like this on the right side in. I have the size to max, tip to sharp, and then there was one other, oh, stabilization, that was the other one. I have the stabilization up to 32%, and that helps create some nice lines for the eyelashes. So for example, this is what this looks like now with that amendment. Without that, this is what the hard airbrush looks like, which is fine, but you can see that if I don't have a very steady hand, it can easily look sloppy. So that's what I did in order to make that brush, so I can get more consistent results for eyelashes. I did not mean to do that. clear. Clear? Thank you. Alright, so let's start down here. Okay. And I want to make sure I'm sort of getting like a very consistent line down here, because maybe not like this perfect line. And then if it shows up too much, all I gotta do is just take in the eraser and just gently go in and soften it up. Not a big deal. I am doing this on a separate layer, so that way if I mess up on the eyelashes, I don't have to worry about erasing and it interfering or interacting with the main eye that I've been rendering. This eyelash is long, but not that curled. And at this point, obviously, I'm using this as a reference, but I'm not going to sit here and agonize over every single hair. But just try and get the essence of it, you know. And let's see, there's just a little bit up here. Okay. This will need to be darker down here, so like those are some painting changes that I'll make afterwards that I can make on the main layer with the colors. But yeah, I think these could afford to be a little bit longer. Okay, and I can work on the wrist in a little bit. Okay, so if you look like right here, it's hard to tell, but they are a little bit visible in the sense that like they're just basically going like this. You can't see what they're doing after that, but they're doing just a little bit. And then this one's wrapping around. So you can even see here, they swoop down before they go up. So those are like small details that I'm trying to learn to incorporate and notice in order to get better results on my eyelashes. And this one's about here. This one starts out a little bit curved. And also, if you look, this has a pretty thick line, right? Almost like, I don't want to call it eyeliner, but just to sum up, like it does have quite a bit of space. So we want to make sure that we're also getting that in here. Okay. And I'm sure I will, you know, as I work on this, I will see more and more things that I need to adjust, but that's probably a good start there. And I can go back to creating the individual eyelashes. Thank you all so much for spending time with me while I do this. If you feel so inclined, and you're not, there's no obligation or expectation. If you want to give this a thumbs up, that would help. If you want to give this a comment after the stream, that helps too. If you press the copy button or like the share down at the bottom, if you just press copy link, if you have someone to send it to, great. If not, just pressing copy link helps. And if you feel so inclined to subscribe, that'd also be great, but again, no pressure. Okay. It will be fine, but this needs to be fixed. Okay, so I need to select that. Oh, okay. I think it probably, for now, is good. Okay. I'm going to erase this part right here. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to, right, so without the lashes, with the lashes, I could probably duplicate them if I wanted to make them a little bit more prominent, which I may do, but still take it down just a touch because that's a bit much. And take it down at about 50%. I could even maybe do like a slight Gaussian blur, but like 2%. So I'll keep it like that. And I can add more later. I feel like this needs to be more like that. It just needs more shadows. Okay. Let's go back over here and I know, so if you look, right, it's definitely not as bright as I have it here, so that's one change that I immediately see that needs to take place. All of this needs to be just a little bit darker. I was like, this is not functioning. It's because I wasn't on the right one. It's fine. It still works. It just wasn't doing what I wanted it to. I want to get really nice charcoal and try and just bring this down a little bit. Okay, and then obviously here it needs to be darker. Do you have a paper like screen cover? Yes, that I actually, to treat myself, I changed it like 2 days ago. I've had the same one on for about a year. It definitely left it like lost over time its like papery texture, but it did. I mean, you know, it still protected my screen, and it still also provided some resistance that that you don't quite get when you're working on like the actual screen of the iPad. And I got mine off Amazon. It was one of the cheapest ones I could find with the highest reviews. Installation can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I feel like I feel like any installation with a screen is kind of that way anyways. But I did a significantly better job this time than I did the first time that I did it. So, you know, for years I worked without one, and it's fine, but I do prefer this. Like, absolutely, I do prefer the texture. However, it didn't stop me or prevent me from being able to, you know, draw digitally before. It is a nice like adjustment to have. It's getting there. It's getting there. This needs... Let's start by doing this. You know what I like about doing this right now is that every time I think, like, I'm like, okay, it's looking good, and then I see something, and then I like make an adjustment, like, ooh, it's looking better. What a surprise! That's fun. So technically, yes, but it depends. Are you working on an Apple pen or a other type of stylus? Because I have other styluses. I have many other styluses that I've used before I got my Apple. Okay, so I have found that the Apple stylus has lasted significantly longer than my other ones. I have not yet had to change the tip of it, or the nib or whatever it is. Now it is, you can tell it is starting to get like worn down, and I did just buy myself some replacements. They were like $5.99 for 4 different ones, or for 4 total. But this has lasted me since I got it back in, I think it was August, September, somewhere around there. So yeah, it does wear it down, but what I will say is it also is a matter of just like figuring out the pressure, the same way that like when you're figuring out pressure for the Apple Pen in general, and like how much to apply in order to get certain brush strokes, you will figure out what is too hard of a pressure that will wear this down. Because when I was using my much cheaper ones, this has color on it because it's sitting with my markers, my apologies, but you can tell that it went all the way through to the metal part underneath, and that I was able to achieve in one sitting on accident, because I didn't realize how much pressure I didn't need to have in order to draw on the paper screen with my pen. So it's obviously very different than like working on a smooth surface versus the paper surface. So it was more just like like anything, I just had to try it and get comfortable and see what like was working. After that, it's been easy. Just just know there might be an adapting period. Oh, there's so many things I see that need adjustments on this, and it's driving me insane. Okay, let's start here. This needs to be down. And that's fine, because I'll go like this. I'm gonna duplicate, I'm gonna work on the layer underneath it, and then I'm just gonna smudge around. And that's fine. And I'll go like that, and now I'll just, whee. Good enough. Yeah, I have worked without an Apple Pen literally this entire time until my most recent weeks, like months, I guess. I've been just working on the other stuff. I do prefer this. I do. I wasn't sure if it'd be worth like the actual investment, but like now that I've made this switch, I'm like, oh yes, absolutely, 100%. Oh, there's definitely more changes I need to make, but I just don't know that I'll get to them all tonight. I think one of the things that's really bothering me right now is this area. And so I'm going to start here first by, I could use that, but I feel like, is it in Elements? No. Materials? I'm just going to soften up this line real quick by smudging it out. And then now I can add that. And now I can also make some adjustments. I'm going to, for this smudge though, go back to the airbrush, the hard airbrush, and sort of rework this a little bit. That looks significantly better, in my opinion. All right. Okay. Is it perfect? No, it is not. Does it need more work? But I think that's a good spot for me to like take a break, you know? Just take a break. I will be back tomorrow to do more eyeballs. And if I see something that, you know, I'm sure I will by tomorrow, I'll be able to see some of the errors and mistakes that I've made on this one more clearly. And I'll work on those as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for spending time with me during this live. Very much appreciated. I hope that you enjoyed your time. I know I did. If you haven't subscribed, obviously consider, but no pressure. And yeah, I guess I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, and make sure that you're taking care of yourselves. Thank you, thank you. You have a good night as well. Thanks, everyone.